third major topic that we're covering here are attorney's fees in a divorce. Florida has attorney fee sharing laws that are set up in theory to allow each spouse equal access to lawyers. And the idea behind this is if one spouse controls all of the money, then they can be required to pay the reasonable fees and costs of the other spouse's lawyer if they have the financial ability. And if the assets and income are similar after the divorce, then the spouse is likely going to have to pay for their own lawyer. And sometimes during a more complicated divorce, there's going to be a hearing early on called a temporary relief hearing, to where the other spouse will be asking for the wealthier spouse to pay for their lawyer. What all this is set up to do is to make it so that people are on equal financial footing. During the divorce, they each have the ability to have a competent lawyer represent them. Most lawyers, including myself, are not going to work on hopes and dreams. They need to be paid for what they do, so they're going to need to be paid in many cases up front. And these laws, the attorney fee sharing laws, allow somebody to be able to hire their lawyer, and then if the divorce is complicated, go into court and to get the money to pay their lawyer to do a good job for them and adequately represent them during the divorce, even though they didn't have the money to pay the lawyer. They can make their spouse do it. So, how do these laws work? I'll give you a few examples here. In general, though, remember the concept is that if one spouse has all of the money and they have significant assets, they're likely going to have to pay for their other spouse's lawyer. If both spouses leave the marriage with the same amount of money, they're probably going to pay for their own lawyer. In this example, Jack and Jill again, and assume that in the divorce they each receive $250,000 in net marital assets, and Jack makes $150,000 a year and Jill doesn't work. Maybe she's a stay-at-home mother. In this case, normally you'd look at the facts and say, hey, Jack's getting $250,000 and he's making $150,000 a year. That's a lot of money. He should be able to pay for Jill's lawyer. And in Florida, not necessarily the case. If by the time Jack pays alimony and child support to Jill, his income is about the same as hers. If that's the case, and each party leaves the marriage with $250,000 or so, and Jill's income's equal to Jack's after he pays support, they're each going to pay probably for their own lawyer. Similar example that involves Jack and Jill: if they each receive $250,000 in assets in the divorce, and Jack is making the $150,000 a year and paying alimony and child support to Jill, just like the last example, but leaves the marriage with, say, $2 million in non-marital assets. In this scenario, Jack's likely going to have to pay for Jill's lawyer since he has far greater assets after the divorce than she does. There's a financial disparity in assets after the divorce, and that's going to create an entitlement to attorney's fees for Jill. Another example, assume that Jack and Jill each leave the marriage with $250,000, but Jack is an investment banker earning $5 million a year, and after he pays for Jill's alimony and child support payments, he still has $50,000 a month left over. In this type of case, it's another set of facts that comes up in the Florida case law. Jack's going to be considered to have the ability to pay for Jill's lawyer from his income, although his assets aren't extremely high. He can pay for the attorney out of his income, and is likely going to be required to do so if Jack and Jill are in divorce court, because Jill would have to deplete her assets received in the divorce to pay for her lawyer, while Jack can just pay it out of his next month's income. A couple things to keep in mind when it comes to attorney's fee sharing laws in a Florida divorce is one spouse's responsibility to pay for the other lawyer is not completely without limits. The attorney's fees that are going to be paid by the wealthier spouse have to be reasonable and necessary. And if one spouse engages in unnecessary litigation, such as turning down a reasonable settlement offer, then that might affect their ability to have their attorney's fees paid in full. Basically, you have to watch out when you're in a divorce case, even if you think your spouse is going to be required to pay for your lawyer. If a judge later determines that you prolonged the divorce case unnecessarily, or just over litigated the case, you're going into court every single time you sneezed and created a lot of lawyer's fees doing that, that may not have been really necessary, then the judge may limit what the spouse has to pay to your lawyer. So it's kind of common sense. We here at the Bruce Law Firm hope this video has been helpful to you, and briefly want to highlight a few other resources we've put together that might be beneficial as you think more about divorce and try to learn more about it. We have a website, divorceinformationbooks.com. That's divorceinformationbooks.com. And when you go to that page, you will be able to download all of the books that our firm has made available for free on different topics related to divorce, getting organized for divorce, controlling a difficult divorce, divorce strategy. We've got a Florida law guide and a Florida procedure guide on there. A load of helpful information, all for free, that you can download and read in the comfort of your own home, and also request for us to mail to you for free. So check it out, divorceinformationbooks.com. And we have another website. It's hurtforthelast.time.com, and that will take you to our law firm's guide on how to divorce a controlling or narcissistic husband. We represent both men and women at the Bruce Law Firm, but one of our particular areas of focus is representing women who are leaving an emotionally abusive relationship from a controlling husband who has a personality disorder. It's a very unique type of situation that we like to think we do well, and we've put together a book on that particular type of issue that any women in that situation would certainly benefit from. In terms of what you do now, a few action steps at least suggested by us. Before you do anything, if you haven't done it yet, you should go see a really good therapist and see if it's possible to save your marriage, or at least come to terms with whether for you the best thing to do is move on from your marriage. And if you don't know any really good therapists, we have a website, staymarriedflorida.com, and has a lot of great ones in the South Florida area. If you don't see a therapist in your location, please reach out to us and we'll do our best to connect you to one. A few different steps going forward. Number one, before you get divorced, you need to try to envision and define the life that you want to have after the divorce, and come up with a strategy for how you pursue the divorce. And we have a book on that. ControlYourDifficultDivorce.com will take you to it. The second thing you need to be doing in conjunction with finding out the type of life you want to live and trying to figure out how you approach the divorce is learn a little bit more about the laws that apply to a divorce in Florida, and you're doing that right now. We've got a book that covers everything. FloridaDivorceLawGuide.com will take you to it. It's a free book by the firm. The next thing you need to do if you're starting to feel that divorce really is the right option for you is start getting organized. There's financial information that you're going to need to gather. It's a little bit of work, but it certainly can be done and should be done before the divorce process starts. Before you see a lawyer, you need to do your best to get organized for divorce, and go to getorganizedfordivorce.com. We've got a book just on that particular topic. It's geared towards women, but just as helpful towards men, so check it out. And the final step before you do anything, you should read our book on divorce lawyers and how to find them. All you need to know about divorce lawyers. It's all about divorcelawyers.com. That book highlights situations for when you should consider having an attorney to help you with your divorce, how to go about finding an attorney that's right for you in your particular situation, and then how to work with that attorney and make sure that they're hearing you and understand your goals, and that you're working efficiently with them so that the costs are as reasonable as possible. If this video was helpful to you, we'd certainly love if you could share the video with anybody you think might be in need. Divorce is difficult, but it's much easier when people have access to the information needed to dispel the myths common to divorce. There's a lot out there on the internet, and it could be kind of scary. We like to think that the videos we've put together on our website and on our YouTube channel are going to be helpful for everyone, so please share. If you're seeing this and you have a question that comes to mind, please do not hesitate to send it to us. We will do our best to respond to your question. Send an email to questions@brucepa.com, and we'll do our best to answer it. Sending us a question does not create an attorney-client relationship with our law firm. We're not your attorney just because you send us a question, but if you do send us one, we'll do our best to respond. And it might even be something we can turn into a follow-up question and answer video similar to this to help other people in your situation. My name is Christopher Bruce, and my firm is limited to divorce and family law in South Florida. And there's a lot of great lawyers in the South Florida area. We like to think our firm is pretty good at what we do. If you think we might be a good fit for your situation, we welcome your inquiry. What we do is we have a consultation and strategy session typically to determine if we're the right fit for our clients, and in that session we do our best to give a client an understanding of all the laws that apply to their situation. We answer all of the client's questions, and we give them an actionable strategy. It's very helpful for learning what your rights are. And if you'd like to set something like that up, you can call our offices at 561-810-0170. And there's a nominal charge for the meeting, but we like to think it's well worth it. Just as a little bit of a disclaimer, this video is not a substitute for a competent divorce lawyer. You should consult with a qualified divorce lawyer before you take any action, and this video does not create an attorney-client relationship between you and the Bruce Law Firm. We hope this video was helpful. There's more on the website and on YouTube. Thanks for watching.